There's only one place to find the most recognized brand in carpet, Stainmaster, and that's at Lowe's. Right now, get free basic installation with the purchase of Stainmaster carpet and pad, $4.99 or more. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Install available in-store only. Requires non-refundable site assessment fee. Fee is credited to final project price if bought through Lowe's. More charges may apply. Not available in all areas. See Lowe's.com for details, exclusions, and licensure. Valid 2/19 through 4/13. U.S. only.
Social media marketing is marketing, and TikTok is hot. Put the two together, and it is the place to engage your audience. But how do you start? And how is TikTok changing to become more advertiser friendly? Well, we catch up with Yoke Network, the pioneers in TikTok marketing, and more to learn tips and tricks for you to get started. So stay tuned for this and more in episode number 458. Welcome to Mobile Presence, your destination for everything mobile. I'm your host, as always, Peggy Ann Saltz, mobile analyst, tech consultant, senior Forbes writer, founder of Mobile Groove. And today we're looking at social media, because social media marketing is marketing. Advertisers, apps, brands, they're all looking to TikTok influencers, for one, as a cost-effective marketing channel. And Yoke Network has seized this opportunity. The company helps apps grow by driving downloads through social media influencers, and it helps social media influencers by matching them with the brands to better monetize the content. So it's a great model and has worked with some of the biggest influencers across all social media platforms, exclusively, of course, managing a roster of top TikTok creators. So the company has a platform. It has some of the top brands. It delivers some massive results. And we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about how to use influencers to drive app installs, app engagement. My guest is, I have to say, the dynamic duo here behind this powerhouse. We have Jide Maduaku. He is, welcome, hey, CTO, co-founder at Yoke, and Mustafa Mohammed, CEO and co-founder at Yoke. Guys, great to have you. How are you doing today?
We're doing great.
Yeah, great to have you.
Yeah, mostly I know you're gonna point out, say, but our roles are switched.
Yeah, it was the other way around. So I'm the CTO. I'm the CTO. So yeah.
Okay. Well, together you have founded Yoke Network, and I got the idea to interview you both back in December. I was at the App Growth Awards, and they were recognizing you, Mustafa, for your outstanding contribution to the app industry. And I thought, hey, here we are. A couple months later, we did set it up, but that left a huge impression for me. What's the impression for you from that night? I mean, another award on the shelf? I don't know. Tell me about it.
No, I think what I remember from that night is going up on that stage next to you, and actually trying to compete for some headphones, and you actually beat me. So that's an award I would like to have won. So
that was the one. Okay, the heads. Yeah, I won on the question of how many ants it takes to move an iPhone. I mean, I can remember
exactly.
that. And yeah, I was thinking of later in the evening, and then of course there was the after party, and then maybe it's a blank after that. But in any case, you were recognized for a contribution. Let's talk about your shared contribution. You're both pioneers in TikTok, and I mean long before it was hot as it is today. Why that channel to start with?
Well, yeah, to be fair, the reason why we started working on TikTok is because we felt like we came to like Instagram and Snapchat pretty late. I think it was like 2018, 2019. And we stumbled across TikTok because one of our actual clients back then asked us whether we could tap into it, because it was at the time like just a platform for like a younger audience. And then as we studied the platform, we started to see the engagement, the scale, and just how massive like the creators on the platform were and the reach that they had. And just it was pretty obvious to us that we'd seen YouTube come by mature, we'd seen Instagram come by and mature, and we felt that especially for this next generation, TikTok was going to be that platform, and we doubled down on it. And we looked at the history. We always feel that history repeats itself, and we felt that that was an opportunity where TikTok, it was a kind of once in a decade such opportunity for us to take advantage of.
Indeed, and since that, you've been growing as a company. You've also been growing your performance for your customers, for the brands, for the app marketers. What's different or better now that we're talking about influencer marketing now? Because we're in a privacy first marketplace as well. Is that a driver? I'll ask you, Mustafa, first. What's different now? What's better now?
Yeah, I think to be honest, so obviously been in the game for like three and a half years or so now, and kind of we've heard it all where people are like, oh, Facebook is performing like this, or Snapchat is performing like this, and I think once Apple made those changes, it really made it like a kind of even playing field outside of themselves, but kind of made it even playing field, and actually influencers did kind of come to the forefront because for us and our experience, influencers are like an organic heavy channel. You get direct response in terms of people downloading straight away, but at the same time, you'll get kind of that brand effect, and you also get people just remembering your name and downloading later on. So it's not always tracked, and from our perspective, once the privacy changes did happen, there was a greater emphasis on organics, or looking at how to prove value for this channel. And some of our biggest clients now say influencers are integral to their growth, as the likes of Facebook and so on have kind of struggled.
It's tougher there, but it's more effective. It's I wouldn't say it's easier here in TikTok. How are you actually helping advertisers and brands now that the focus has shifted from CPIs to real engagement? It's about engagement, it's about CPMs. Jide, what can you add there?
So the way that we're helping is that we still focus on the CPA. We still focus on like the performance of the campaign and how do we drive that performance through creators. So the real focus is just more that I feel advertisers have started to understand that, okay, cool, well, we need to look at these top level, these upper funnel creatives and upper funnel events. And then that has a bigger impact now on the post performance of campaigns, just because previously you could optimize so granularly with the amount of access and data that you had before iOS 14 that you kind of didn't need to think about where or what the upper funnel events kind of or creative looked like as much. But because the playing field's been leveled, this is the only way to have like more control and to have more levers available to you as an advertiser to drive performance. And that's just through the creative now.
So how would I work with you? Do I come with my creative? Because you both look very creative to me. I mean, I could learn a ton from you about TikTok marketing. How does that work? What is it? I come to you, I'm an advertiser, I'm a brand. I say, this is it. This is the channel I need to be on. I need to be in TikTok. How does it start?
Yeah. So on our side, we really kind of, as you said before, like we see ourselves as like experts in this space and pioneers. Our whole team, we've got some ex-TikTok team. We've got some, guys that have been with us since, we first started our first TikTok campaigns. And along the way, we've been kind of learning new things from loads of different sources, from our experience, from speaking to TikTok themselves and other brands trying the channels and things like that, and creators as well. And I think for us, the way we kind of handle it with advertisers, we take control of the creative process and kind of making sure that the advertiser can get the max out of creators, because there's so much that kind of goes wrong that we see all the time, and especially within this space, we cut a lot of the fat and just make sure we can deliver quality content at scale that will hit your kind of benchmark. So our process is just we do a lot of ideation and looking at kind of what content structures work, what tone of voices and angles work in order to drive the maximum performance. And we've got kind of 3.5 years worth of historical data and kind of, creator experience, to kind of back that up. And kind of we're able to take that and figure out for our testing process what content works for which type of kind of app.
So the misconception that I just sort of say, well, this is my creative I've been using elsewhere, yes, my Instagram or whatever, here, just make it work. That's not going to happen here. You're going to say, no, we have to look at it differently. We have to fix it differently. What kind of process is that? Is that a very long and difficult one, or do, generally speaking, app marketers in particular get it from the get-go?
To be honest, it's an iterative process. That's what I describe it as, because with content and with creative and the speed at which creative and culture changes on TikTok is so much faster than any other social media platform that's existed before us. So you always need to be on the ball. You always need to have new ideas, and you always need to have your ear to the ground as to what is driving performance, what is driving and grabbing audience's attention. So for us, we do see some advertisers and apps are more native to the platform, but then others are not as native, and it will take a bit longer in terms of the testing, in terms of trying to figure out what works out. But then once we do figure out what works, we can then scale through the network, which we have a process for that. And hence why we've built the Yoke network and all the influencers, because we want to deliver to them content and ideas that works, that's easy for them to execute. And then it allows us to help our partners and to drive performance.
And what's happening is also in your network, I'm coming with what I want to be, I'll ideate with you, I'll iterate with you, but you're also matching that to the influencers that sort of fit my brand, fit my campaign, my KPIs. You're going to take that heavy lifting off of me. Is that right?
Yeah. So we're essentially extension of our partners' teams. So if you're a UA manager, really and truly now you really want to automate every UA channel, because there's so many UA channels, there's so many places to drive performance, especially if you're targeting like a Gen Z audience. You want to have that in a very like automated function, and that's where we come in and we can essentially automate that. Who wouldn't want to part of their job be just looking at a dashboard, seeing the performance, increase and decrease in bids, and it relieves a lot of the stress from user acquisition. And we're very transparent, so like through our client dashboard and stuff, you can see all of the creatives, you can see the performance pretty granularly. So it allows us to then provide as much value for our partners so that they can entrust themselves as to being able to know they're getting results with our channel.
I want to get into how you're optimizing performance, but we do have to go to break. Time flies here. You just start and here we go. But listeners, don't go away. We'll be right back. As you can tell, we have some tips around optimizing creatives, campaigns for TikTok for the best results. Don't go away. Be right back.
Mobile Presence, sponsored by CleverTap, a leading engagement.
There's only one place to find the most recognized brand in carpet, Stainmaster, and that's at Lowe's. Right now, get free basic installation with the purchase of Stainmaster carpet and pad, $4.99 or more. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Install available in-store only. Requires non-refundable site assessment fee. Fee is credited to final project price if bought through Lowe's. More charges may apply. Not available in all areas. See Lowe's.com for details, exclusions, and licensure. Valid 2/19 through 4/13. U.S. only.
And retention platform will be back after this message.
And welcome back to Mobile Presence. We have a TikTok dynamic duo, as I said before. We have Jide Maduaku, CEO, co-founder of Yoke Networks, and Mustafa Muhammad, CTO, co-founder at Yoke. And guys, we've been talking about how people can create content, but TikTok is different. It's a very important platform, but it's also been updating features to be more advertiser friendly. What do I need to know? What are some of the new changes I need to know about?
Yeah, so
Ask you
Yeah,
something. You're
I
the
could,
CPS.
yeah,
You're
I
into
could.
the tech.
Why
You're into
not?
the
Why
tech. You're
not?
going
Why
to know
not?
this. Yes.
Yeah, why not? Why not? So, I guess probably I'll provide some context, I guess, with TikTok. So, right now, I think gone are the days where like you get massive organic growth, like we saw like 2 years ago, or even a year ago, maybe. I think TikTok's obviously starting to really hammer down on monetizing. And making sure advertisers go through their kind of paid channels, and I think you probably shouldn't chase the highs anymore of trying to get that viral moment. We've seen like, features such as like Spark ads come out, which allows, advertisers to work with kind of creators and actually boost their posts through paid. And I think that's been a cool way of like kind of how TikTok has creators first as like a real advertising kind of mechanism. We see the same case with like their creator marketplace. They put in real efforts into how advertisers engage with creators, whereas I think some of the other platforms who we shall not name have tried that, but it's like it's always very secondary to their kind of main focus of just normal paid ads. So I think that, as well as some of the changes in terms of like we've seen the sound kind of marketplace that has come out recently, that's allowing people to monetize their sound, and new artists essentially, and a new revenue stream that they can actually kind of earn from. So I think TikTok's really doing a lot for kind of creators and the creator space, and adding all of these new features where they're kind of seeing how people kind of have seen organic success, and providing these tools as like kind of ways that they can monetize, but also provide opportunity for advertisers.
You mentioned that, and I have to follow up. Viral is maybe not the best way to go, is what you said. What do you mean by that? Does that mean sort of like the live streams? That's not where it's at?
Um, no, no, no. So in terms of like, I think, especially well early on, and for a while with TikTok, for us, it was relatively easy to just have a video and just go viral and see massive success. We've seen cases where you can get 50,000 downloads in overnight. And it's like, you know, you can still do that, but it's a lot harder nowadays, where TikTok's starting to kind of limit that kind of organic reach. And I think we've had so many advertisers that have said, we really want to work with you, or we really want to try TikTok, because they've had experience where a creator has, posted and it's gone viral, and they've seen massive organic kind of uplift. And I would say like really shouldn't chase that high of like trying to get that next kind of viral kind of moment. And it's like, you really should kind of be diving deep into TikTok, understanding the platform, and seeing how you can actually have something that's a bit more sustainable, rather than kind of just always going for that kind of chasing that viral high.
Jide, what kind of content creates brand value in your opinion?
That's a very good question. I do feel it depends on the product itself, and in terms of the value that the brand is seeking. I think generally on TikTok is really about having very organic content that is like native to the platform and native to the audience. What you kind of see is if the audience feels like it's being sold to in a way that's not going to benefit their life, then it's not going to perform well on TikTok. So I definitely think that the platform, which TikTok have done really well as a platform, because they've made the whole platform about discovery and finding and education. So tailoring your content for that type of category so that you can angle it to the motivations of like the advertiser in terms of, hey, I have this product that's going to help you get fit. I'm going to explain to you how you can get fit. Here are 3 ways that you can get fit. That's just one or 3 different angles for one type of focus. So I definitely say educating the audience will create brand value. And that's my opinion.
That's really interesting, because one of the reasons I came to this was I was doing an interview with HBR, and they were talking about we need social media. We're over 100 years old and people need to read HBR. And so they have TikTok. And I was like, how's that going to look? And how's that going to be? But it fits with the educational aspect here. What does that look like when you're trying to optimize it? Because you're talking about being sustainable, which means great content, educating, being native. What does that mean in practical terms? How can you content?
Yeah, well, how you would optimize that is you got to optimization. I feel is all about what is driving the best performance in terms of your KPIs. So if you're optimizing towards clicks, you're going to be looking higher funnel. So okay, cool. What in the content is driving the audience to click? If you're optimizing towards like downloads or like post install, you're like, okay, where is the value and what is going to funnel the audience to find this in the post install?
So you have on your website, and I'm actually going to link to it because I downloaded it as well. You have sort of like your TikTok guide. Obviously, you've been working in it a while, so you do have some tips. Share with me something, maybe a massive surprise where you thought that's not going to take off and it did exactly, or the other way around, some nightmare where you thought this was going to work, but it didn't. Love to hear some of those examples because you've worked with such a roster of brands and app marketers. Take me back. Tell me you're learning.
Interesting. Well, one example was early on when we started to work with like a VPN. And we found out that most people were like, most of the angle traditionally for VPNs was like, okay, protect yourself online or get access to this. And we found that people literally wanted to use a VPN during lockdown so that they can get access to Netflix in another country. So like that was kind of the angle where we were like, oh snap, like we can literally have huge growth because the audience wants to use VPNs to continue to watch like Netflix.
They want to hack basically.
Yeah, it's literally you're hacking Netflix. So like what we've seen is that where you can tailor to like the audience's interests or things that they're doing every day, that usually can perform well. And that could be even leveraging like ubiquitous platforms so that they can drive performance or have a different experience with that as they did with like Netflix and VPN.
You also have an app yourself, which I think is interesting. So you have your creators, and this must be your idea, Mustafa. You've launched an app so creators can see their results. A little bit geeky, but very effective. What's that about?
Yeah, so to be fair, I don't even know if it was me originally. I'll give that one to Jide because I feel like it's something he's saying. So when we first started, Yoke, we always had a vision of like kind of, building an app so that, it's very native for creators. They're always on their phone. They're, switching from Snapchat to TikTok to Instagram and then to Yoke. So it's like, we want them to be promoting. We want it to be simple, and we'd much rather that than just a website or a dashboard where they would upload their content and things like that. So for our kind of purposes, like we know, like I mentioned earlier, just to cut the fat. So we spent all of our time kind of trying to optimize, our experience and kind of processes so that we are able to deliver campaigns quickly and effectively. So, the typical back and forth negotiations with like, with clients and stuff like that, and between clients and kind of influencers, we've had that kind of in the past and we've experienced it and we've realized, it's so very long, and the whole contract process and all of these like kind of long steps. How can we just make sure it's quick and just, influencers can promote what they want when they want, and relatively easy and benefit from that. So we started on a CPI basis, so kind of massive success with influencers being able to earn on a performance. Since we've moved to kind of CPM, and going from there, it's even smoother for creators. So we kind of offer them a mix of CPM or fixed, so that they're able to kind of benefit and kind of promote campaigns. And the easier you make it for them, the the better your results typically. The moment that any inefficiency enters the process, we've seen results are just terrible.
It's a little bit like Salesforce for social, isn't it, in a way? Because I'm seeing all the results. I've got my pipeline. Am I matching with the influencers as well there?
No, we manage the delivery, so that's another
Okay.
way that we streamlined it because
Okay.
yeah, it can get hairy.
So how do you make that match? I'm just curious. Is that some sort of process where you have to ask me about my brand and my vision and what I want to do, and then you're going to find those influencers for me? Because you're taking a lot of heavy lifting out of it, and they're relying on you to do that. I'm just curious how you make that match.
Definitely. For us, a big part of it is, of course, like, onboarding, understanding the client's kind of targets, what they've done in the past as well helps. The content that they've done in the past, how it's performed, maybe some other channels as well. We kind of take that, and then, as I said, as part of like our kind of ideation process, we try to not be closed-minded, be quite open-minded in the ideas that we can generate, whether it's tone of voices, creators. What we try and do is, test creator categories, test, content angles, and test combinations of those to see what actually takes off the best. And then sometimes you'll be surprised, that one particular category of influencer just performs way better with a specific tone of voice. And we're able to just replicate that and kind of go from there. And at the end of the day, the data doesn't lie.
So with your own app, are you also building a community for that? Are you advertising for your own app on TikTok? I'm just curious.
To be fair, we're not advertising on TikTok, but we do a lot of we get a lot of creators coming to us. We find that what we want to do in the future is probably have a community that allows anybody to become a creator. Right now, I think there is a barrier to entry because not everybody knows Yoke is the easiest way to make money as a creator, or if you want to be a creator, we'll have everything in place for you to easily do that and earn a living online.
So everyone can be a creator. I mean, that's exciting.
Yeah, I do see a future because as we're moving to especially with Web3, with the metaverse, with so many opportunities online and digital products, that means that's a whole world, and they're gonna need content. They're gonna need people to engage with it some way. And there's so many different audiences, so many different products, and we can position ourselves in between there to help, especially with our experience on TikTok as the cultural center of social media now, and compounding over the years. I can only see it us being able to know more and execute better.
So let's round out with two pieces of advice. One for the advertiser to get the most out of TikTok, how to do it, some opportunity that they're missing that you want to tell people about, because you're seeing what advertisers do and what they don't do. And then the other piece of advice I want to have for the creators. So I'll start off with the advertiser, the brand, the app marketer. Piece of advice for them.
Yeah. For the advertiser, what I'll definitely say is use TikTok. Curate your For You page. Actually engage in the culture and try and understand it. Engage with more content. Learn from the different creators that are there, and naturally your For You page will just be loads of new ideas for you to try, things that you like. So I think engage with that, and also be natural, be less scripted. We've seen cases like Duolingo or Ryanair in the UK that are able to kind of create these profiles that aren't just the typical corporate profiles, but they actually tap into the people running the accounts, and actually not being behind the wall, and trying to connect with the actual audience.
Trying to imagine Ryanair's TikTok profile.
It's actually really good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
They have a plane where they just they have a face on a plane, and it's just all of this weird and wacky content. You're just this isn't what I expected from Ryanair, but it works.
Yeah.
That's the thing about this platform. It's just the unexpected. It's not the polished stuff. It's the stuff that just comes right out. We also said even our producer needs to be on TikTok because Roscoe, our great producer for a decade, is actually a rap pope and needs to share his thoughts. So we've given him an idea, which gets me to the last point here. The creator. It's a tip for them. Maybe something to say, hey, you know what? This is a huge platform, and there's huge, broad range that, we have this myself, preconceived notion, if you're not cool, if you're not dancing, it's not going to happen. Tell me about something you did to knock that myth out, to bust that myth.
But if you're a creator, definitely you need to be doing something that will make you stand out. And by standing out is thinking outside of the box. I definitely feel that if you have a weird talent or something that or engage in like an industry that people don't know a lot about, they're the type of creators and content that can do really, really well. Like there's a pool cleaner who with like over 4 million followers on TikTok, and he just goes around and cleans people's pools. And like there's people on TikTok who are like marine biologists and stuff, and there's diamond searches and finders on TikTok as well. So like you often find that as a creator, if you're doing something weird, just a weird like industry, then you can go really viral. But then if you're not doing something weird and you're very and you lead like a very normal life, then I think really, really relatable content can work really well. Like we had my partner, my girlfriend, she was showing me a video yesterday, and it was dubbed the greatest video on TikTok, and it was literally a girl who was working in Tesco's, those in America, like a Walmart, and she literally came home and was like, if you guys really want to know where the butter is, look up in the aisle. And she was like cursing at the screen, and it was just funny because like she's saying something that's so obvious, but you'd never expect it. And she went viral. So, yeah.
That's awesome. You just be yourself. Be a little. If you're doing something weird, show it off, and be native. It's about being native to the platform. Guys, I can't thank you enough for being here, and maybe we'll check in with you a bit more when you're a little further along with a couple more interesting tips or tricks, or the platform changes and we need some advice. I know where I'm going to go. So thank you so much, both of you, for sharing.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. And of course, as always, if you want to keep up with me throughout the week, find out more about how you can be a guest or sponsor on Mobile Presence, then you can email me at peggy@mobilegroove.com. You can also find my portfolio there. Of course, I'm on social, but people want to email me for some reason. So there it is. There's the email. And if you want to check out the other episodes of our show, you can do it on WMR.fm, Amazon, iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, simply by searching Mobile Presence. And of course, video powered by my own company, The Groove, on YouTube. So until next time, remember, every minute is mobile, so make every minute count. Keep well, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of WebmasterRadio.fm's management or sponsors. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without authorized consent of WebmasterRadio.fm is prohibited.
There's only one place to find the most recognized brand in carpet, Stainmaster, and that's at Lowe's. Right now, get free basic installation with the purchase of Stainmaster carpet and pad, $4.99 or more. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Install available in-store only. Requires non-refundable site assessment fee. Fee is credited to final project price if bought through Lowe's. More charges may apply. Not available in all areas. See Lowe's.com for details, exclusions, and licensure. Valid 2/19 through 4/13. U.S. only.